It's been a while. I actually got my hair cut since we last saw each other on YouTube, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's actually something that's been requested by you guys on Instagram a few times. I'm going to be sharing with you how I grew my community on Instagram and how you can do it too. So a little introduction. Nice to meet you. I'm Katie. You might know me as KatieYU from Instagram. I started taking social media seriously around 1 year ago. I've been very blessed with a crazy journey, really. I've been really lucky to have grown a community on Instagram of over 120k and over 130k on TikTok. Social media has opened a lot of doors for me. I've been really grateful to have worked with brands such as Ilia, UGG, and I've been to PR events with Kiehl's. These are things I could never ever have imagined this time last year, basically. I'm going to be focusing on Instagram specifically. I've done a lot of trial and error on Instagram, and I'm here to share with you my summary so you don't have to make the same mistake. So let's get started. A disclaimer: everything I mention here is based on my experience and my conversations with other content creators. I don't actually work in these social media platforms, so I can't guarantee for sure that everything is, fact. The algorithm changes and updates every so often, I believe, so this is what I've experienced in 2023. So let's get started. With Instagram, I believe that this is the formula for success. Consistency plus value plus hook plus unique selling point. Let's break it down. So consistency, especially when you start growing, you want the platform to recognize you as someone who is consistent, someone who is active on social media. If I were you, I would definitely post minimum 2 to 3 reels every week and also be active every day on it. That can be in the form of a carousel or photo or an Instagram story. There's a fine line because you don't want to overwhelm your community with too much of you. So you don't want to be posting like 3 reels a day, 10 stories, you know what I mean? A bonus point is if you post that at the exact same time every week and the exact same day every week, so that the system can also recognize you as someone who is, again, consistent. So the second part to this formula is value. I'm sure both you and I know that humans' time is very precious. At this day and age, we're probably overwhelmed with information and media. So in order for someone to want to stop and spend time on something that you create, I believe that it needs to give your audience value. And value can come in many different forms. You can entertain them and make them laugh. You can teach them something, you can recommend a product, you can teach them a hack, or it can also be in the form of connection or motivation or inspiration. If you give value to someone, it's more likely that they will save or interact with your post. And I believe that the quality of your content is actually measured by how people interact with your content. I believe that there's a hierarchy to this. So that goes in the form of saves. If you post a really good recipe and I save it, that tells the platform that this is good quality content, because me as a user likes it so much that I'm going to save it and I'm going to come back to it later. When I want to make this meal, I'm going to come back to my saved posts. Next is shares. If you posted a really funny reel, I might share it to my stories with all my followers, or I might share it with my friends through DM. And this again tells the platform that this is good quality content because it's so good that I'm sharing it with my friends. Next is comment. So if I like your content so much that I want to comment on it, maybe I'll tag my friend, or maybe I'll say, oh, this is really nice. Again, that communicates with the platform. And finally, we have likes. I guess we're all very familiar with likes. That's also interaction, and you do want as many likes as possible. In a nutshell, you really need to understand that people are looking for something when they're on social media. They're not here to donate their attention or time. You really need to give them something back for their time. Again, this also leads on to the next part of the formula, which is the hook. You may have heard of this from other content creators. The first millisecond of your video is really important because that will hook your viewer into watching the rest of the video. And if I watch the whole video, or if I watch the video twice, that would also tell the platform how good this piece of content is. You can add a hook to the start of your content by maybe saying something like, this is how you can blah blah blah. Apparently you can also move your phone, so if the first second has a bit of movement, apparently that's something that makes people be like, oh, what's that, instead of something that's very like plain and like predictable. The last and final part of the formula, maybe the most important part actually, is the USP, the unique selling point. This is you, this is your voice, this is your message, this is what you believe in, this is your aesthetic, this is your passion. This is something that other people cannot recreate no matter what. That might sound a bit cliche, but I really do think that this sets people apart. You know, there's so many vloggers, but I always watch a certain one. Like I have a favorite because like she might be vlogging the same kind of thing as someone else, but I prefer watching her videos maybe because of her personality or her voice. So show the people who you are, what you stand for, your personality, and rather than replicating what you think people want you to be, I think it's a lot more charming and easy to connect with someone who is just themselves. Also, I know this is not very easy to do because it's sometimes very awkward filming on the camera, like right now. But yeah, I guess this is something that comes with practice and time. So now that we've got the formula covered, let's move on to some tips and tricks and things that I've learned that I think will be pretty useful for you as well. First of all, the technical stuff. Social media measures the performance of your video using a ranking. Saves, shares, comments, and likes. If you're able to get someone to watch your content or spend a longer time on it, that tells social media that it's good. Second thing I would recommend is do things that are easy for you. You may not know this, but I actually started with making fashion content on Instagram, and I love fashion. I love fashion content creators as well. However, when I started making those videos, I realized that I hate changing into different outfits. It was just so tiring changing into different outfits for me personally. So it just wasn't fun making the videos, and the fashion market is very saturated, and in order for me to stand out, I would have had to provide something that someone didn't already or do something better than someone else, and I just didn't think I had that in me, honestly. So kind of by chance I started making a oil pastel drawing video, and I didn't really think much of it. At that time my fashion videos probably got like 20 views, but then when I made this oil pastel video, it got a lot more interaction, it got a lot more reach. So I was like, oh, maybe people like watching this kind of stuff. The best part was that it was actually, I wouldn't say easy, but it was easier for me. Drawing didn't feel so much like a chore. It felt more like a hobby. It felt like something that I enjoyed doing anyway, even if I didn't make content. From then on, I was like, oh, this is a much more effective system for me to do something that I like, something that I didn't find too difficult, and something that other people also liked. The next thing that I learned is that every platform is different. I preferred Instagram the most just because I feel like it's the best for connecting with my community, and I'm still trying to find my feet in long form content, which is YouTube. Actually, this is something I'm still learning. I've had times where I've posted the exact same video on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts, and they've gotten very different results. So this is an example. If you've already made the content, I would say it's quite efficient to just upload it onto the different platforms, but without watermark, because you've done the hard work anyway. You might as well just upload it to the different platforms, and you may get a different result on each one. Like if I only uploaded on TikTok, then I probably wouldn't have had the community I found on Instagram. The next point is actually, it's quite a personal one, okay? I'm currently at this stage where I'm trying to find what I like versus what performs well. You may or may not know that I've done a lot of oil pastel reels. They've pretty much been the reason this community has grown so quickly. Almost a year into it, I realized like as much as I love oil pastel, I also love so many other creative things. I'm also passionate about like lifestyle, painting. At this point in my life, I have slowed down my growth because I'm not as niched down. You know, I guess back then the platform is always pushing my content to the oil pastel market. Suddenly one day I'm posting a fashion video and they're sharing this with people who love oil pastels. They're probably not as interested in fashion as they are in oil pastels, and that means that my content doesn't perform as well, and then my reach also drops. So honestly, I'm at a place at the minute where I'm trying to prioritize my passion as well as growth, because I'm in this for the long run and it needs to be something that I love for me to do well. So that's my current struggle. I would definitely say give your community the time to get to know you. Get to know who you are, what you stand for, what's your story. You also to get to know your community and get to know what kind of things they want to see, what kind of things they want to know. I personally do believe that a more tight-knit community that might be smaller is more rewarding than a really big community that is not very loyal. I do think, you know, at the end of the day, if you want to make this your career and you want to make a living out of this, of course, a bigger audience is also very important. Long story short, it's important to build a relationship with your community. At the end of the day, I would really recommend you to just do what you like, do what you're passionate about, because that's probably why you've pursued this path, right?
Here is a quick summary of everything we've discussed.
I think that's it for today. I think I've talked for a long time. I really hope you found this kind of useful. I wish you all the best in your creative journey. If you found this helpful, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. I know you've probably heard that a million times. I would be so grateful if you did that. Also, if you have any tips I haven't covered, please do share them in the comments below. I would love to hear more tips from you guys if you know any. Thank you so much for being here. I'm always grateful for you, and I hope you have a good day, and